else. Thought I'd try this just to see how it works. Obviously, probably not as good as being able to talk live, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let me get the right setup in here. Oh, don't want to do that. Kansas. Alright, so for most of the time in the truck, especially mile and a half, I use the NASCAR wheel. I think you do the same. I used to always be 16 to 1 here. Then I went down to 14 to 1. And now I run 12 to 1 pretty much everywhere unless it's a short track. And I'll drop down to 10 to 1, sometimes maybe 8 to 1. But offset, I don't mess with this too much. If at all, I just leave whatever the base is. Brake bias, I typically start at I think most of the time it'll default to 65, but this one looks like it defaulted to 62.5, so I usually run somewhere between 60 and 62. Obviously, only a mile and a half, so you're not using too much brake anyway, except to maybe a little bit to get into some of the corners, or just trail braking. So, but if you're really loose on corner entry, you obviously bump it up. If you still feel like it's tight on corner entry, you can continue to bump it down. So we'll set it at 60 on this one and apply. Just to give you an idea, pretty warm. I think it's 1 o'clock in the day. Track temperature is 125, so it's pretty hot. But so I put this up here. Don't typically use this.
Might be some metal on a track pit out there, so just keep looking.
But I figured it might be good to maybe, well, where did it go? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Settings. Race preview. Okay. I'll just turn that off. Puts off. All right. You just look at my input on iRacing's input here. So what's going on with this thing? Oh. We're gonna straighten out here in a minute. So just real quick, on saving the right front, the biggest thing that I learned to do, and something that's you just have to practice at, is finding the spot on your steering wheel that you don't want to basically go past on corner entry. So if I'm entering the corner here, all right, like this, where my angle is here is about as probably as far as I typically like to turn the wheel on corner entry, or do the whole corner actually. So once you're in the corner, you want to hold this angle, right? Um, if you're getting on the gas like this, and the car is pushing to the wall, and you're doing this, you're putting more wheel into it. Now you know you've gotten on the gas too soon. You want to keep this angle and whatever looking at the front of your truck, making it turn to that white line to get to the apex, basically all the way through the corner. So this is the point to where you're getting to, and this is the point where they say you're driving with your feet. Okay, so it's, if the truck's pushing and you feel like you need to put more wheel into it, then it might be a small trail brake like this. All right, just a little 5-10% brake at most. All right, once you see the truck start to rotate down, then that's when you know you can add the off the brake, add the gas, and then you're wanting to come in late to this apex, hit that, and now you're driving the truck off the corner.
Radio check, test 1, 2, radio check, got it.
All right, you're driving the corner, you're driving the truck off the corner, and you also want to get this view right here, right? Like you want to get familiar, basically, with if you're up against the wall, if you're close enough to the wall, because if you exit, what's up, buddy?
What's up? How you feeling?
Yeah.
Is it gonna go like on the touch?
What?
Are you gonna go touch it, right?
I'm just filming it for somebody.
Oh, well, I'm in my underwear, so.
Oh, okay. I'm not on camera.
You're not? Okay.
Why?
Because I didn't want them to see me in my underwear.
Oh, I got you.
What you doing?
They can hear you.
Okay.
So,
They can't see me then.
no.
I'm gonna be on my PS5. You just let me know whatever.
Yeah. So if you come off the corner and you're here, then you've given up all that space, basically, to allow yourself to get on the gas shooter to come off up next to this wall, right? So, same thing. I typically like to look at lines, like, especially if you're coming off the corner and you know someone's on the outside. All right, I'm trusting that guy's going to go to the wall, and I'm looking at lines to pick my exit, because if you're trying to pass somebody and he's on the outside and you're obviously down here, now you've given up the same thing on the exit that we were talking about against the wall. So that's just practice stuff, to be as far up against this wall on corner exit as you can, right? It's just getting used to that sight picture and running up there. But basically, like I said, here, corner entry, you might want to, what they call opening up your entry, you might want to kind of enter late, let the truck, don't be so quick to get down here, let the truck work itself down, and once you see that sight picture start to turn, then you can get on the gas, all right? But like I said, the biggest key here is learning to keep that wheel here. I probably typically have an issue where I don't turn the wheel enough, especially in qualifying. I find myself doing the same thing that I would in a race run, where in qualifying you can give it that little extra wheel, because you don't obviously care about the right front too much, overheating or wearing out during qualifying. But in race, holding this wheel, not going past this point to the left, obviously you're going to correct a little bit, and there's times where you're gonna go a little past that point to the left if you're trying to get by somebody or that kind of deal. But when you're running by yourself, this you kind of want to pick that spot to the left and don't pass that point. From this point on, you're using your feet to turn the truck or to make the truck push. So if the truck's not turning and and you feel like you need more wheel to get through the corner, that's when you know you either need to get off the gas or apply a little bit of trail brake. Or if you're at this point and the truck starts turning too good down towards the apron, then that's the part you can add more gas to get off the corner. Now, the other thing I learned, or that I have to work on, is once you get to the point where the truck is turning, you obviously don't just go from 0 to 100 on exit, right? You want to increase. You want to try to keep that momentum up by increasing that throttle a little bit at a time. So you don't want to slow down so much to where now you can get on the gas 100%. It's where you start building that throttle on corner exit. So we'll run a couple laps here and just kind of see how I do. Qualifying laps, especially coming to green. I want this high side to build up momentum, get all the track I can. Then here, I would just cut it down, cut that.
91.773. That was a good lap, man. That was a good line you had there. Any handling comments there to that last little bit?
So it looks like bottom's definitely going to be the best way there. Let's see what top does here for us. This typically becomes a top side racetrack after a while, but qualifying looks like probably going to be bottom.
31.62. Great lap that last lap.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty easy track.
Great lap that last lap.
You might start braking a little bit on a very long run, but the biggest thing is finding that point in the steering wheel and not passing it and using your feet to control the front of the truck. So don't come in here, all right, gas it, and then we're just giving it more wheel like this to get through the corner, right? We want to pick that point.
31.703.
And then use our feet to let the truck turn. And then start backing the wheel out as we come on exit. And I'm not turning the wheel to the right, that's just the offset in the wheel. That's where that +4 comes in. That just allows us not to have to, you can go to 0, make it straight up, and it would just make it look like I'm turning more to the left. So turns 3 and 4 is pretty easy. 1 and 2 is where you're going to really burn up the right front. It's a lot tighter over there. So what I would do, especially if you got no one behind you, like pressing to pass you, is as you're entering turn 1,
32.0.
stay up on this wall just a little longer get down a little later right here, and it'll take a lot of the tightness out and save that right front. You can do the same thing in 3 and 4. So if you got someone trying to press you, pass you, obviously you're opening yourself up for them to get up under you. But when you're running by yourself, this is what you want to do. You want to open that entry up. So you're basically just
32.25.
waiting later to turn in and waiting to get the car down longer, right? And we're letting off the gas to let the car get down by itself without adding more wheel. And we'll try a pit stop real quick, see if we can find a good spot to brake at here. I think it's this red sign if I remember right. Yeah, about that red sign probably. You could probably push it a little harder if you wanted to, but about the red sign's a pretty safe spot to, and you can actually hold 46 is what I typically do because you gain a lot of positions.
10 away now. 5 away.
And once it hits slow down, you just let off a little bit.
Now. Turn in, turn in, turn in, turn in.
And then on pit exit, something that'll help you is about 4,000. Hold your pedal about 4,000, 4,500. And when they drop the jack, then you can start adding throttle to it.
Good job, guys.
Try a qualifying lap here, see if I can beat my fast session lap.
Good job, man. There you go.
Try one more pit stop. Yeah, red sign's probably safe. That was a little too aggressive there. So yeah, 131.3. But like I said, the biggest thing you want to do is practice this wheel. Finding that spot, holding that wheel right there, and using your throttle to drive the truck, not the steering wheel. Okay. So it just takes practice, but you find that spot. I call it somewhere between 30 and 40 degrees, basically on a 12 to 1. You might need more if you run a 16 to 1 or 14 to 1, because obviously you got to turn the wheel a little more to make the truck turn. But about 30 to 40 degrees on a 12 to 1, and then you just hold that particular spot and drive the truck with your feet, like the throttle and the brake, and that's what you're turning the truck with. So give that a shot, see if that helps any. Hit me up, let me know if you got any questions.